Good day, my friends. My name is Tracy Repchuk, and I'm the host of Reach Millions TV, an entrepreneurial lifestyle and learning channel where I will educate and introduce you to some of the greatest powerhouses in their fields. As an entrepreneur for over 37 years, I've had the good fortune to appear in Forbes over 27 times, speak in 39 countries, appeared on NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, won awards from the Senate, the Assembly, the White House, and President Obama, written 9 #1 bestsellers. And from that journey, I reached millions with my message. So I wanted to show you and introduce you to the people that can help you to find more leads, make more sales, and reach millions with your message. You can find out more about me at tracyrepchuk.com and reachmillionsacademy.com. Today, I'm excited to bring you an exciting topic called Meta Made Easy and broadcasting to Facebook Live. So let's get right to it and take a look at the marketing landscape. So there's 7 billion people on the planet. 5 billion own a smartphone, 2 billion are on the internet. 60% of buyers Google a name before using it. More traffic now comes from mobile than any other platform. Facebook now has more active users than the population of China. YouTube is the second largest search engine. Instagram is the second largest social media platform behind Facebook. And of course, Facebook owns them. Of the top 100 brands, 90% are on Instagram. And LinkedIn has the highest per capita income earners. And email marketing still has the highest return on investment. So this is where we're sitting at this moment. And of course, Facebook is a giant in the field of kind of communication and relationship building with both the Facebook and the Instagram. So when it comes to social media, what you need to know is, what is your end game? So that's the goals of why are you even doing social media? If we take a look at it, there's actually 4 major criteria. There's listening, which is manage reputation, identify gaps, reduce returns, and increase retention. There is influence, which is increasing engagement, web traffic awareness, and retargeting. There's networking, which is connecting with brands and peers on the web for strategic partnership. And then there is selling, and that is generating leads and sales from social media. So the key to this is really a distribution of 80% kind of educating, nurturing, and those are the first 3 criteria, and 20% sell. So that was the mention of that kind of last option on the 4 major elements that you do on social media. So what we're going to do today is hone in on Facebook. So there's over 2 billion active Facebook users. 45 to 54 is the fastest growing age range. The average daily Facebook likes is 45 billion. Average number of Facebook messages daily is 10 billion. 53% are female and 47% are male. For business to business, the highest traffic is at 9 a.m. and then between 3 to 4 p.m. For business to consumer, it's kind of at that like 9, 12, and 4 at these plug-in moments and check-in moments. Every 60 seconds, 500 comments, 293,000 status updates, and 136,000 photos are uploaded. And of course, coronavirus gave Facebook a massive boost in popularity for live feeds and news and group creation. And records were really getting set daily for kind of what was going on. And then they changed their name to Meta on October 28th, 2021. And of course, this is to take advantage of the fact that, you know, we're really migrating to a new reframe of, I'll call it, branding. In it's everything online is starting to be called kind of the metaverse. And in Facebook's name change, they wanted to be at the keyword front end of everything that everybody typed in. So what are some of the things that you could be doing on Facebook? The first is, of course, building that page up, whether it be for your company or you personally, kind of like that corporate identity, so to speak. And then, of course, you can create groups. This is an extremely powerful way to kind of put together like-minded topics that you speak on and build those like-minded communities. You can put on events, and you can, of course, generate ads. And then last but not least is your personal page. And this is for many where the majority of interaction happens, where you really start to talk about what you do from your personal page. You move to pages, you move to groups, and you promote events. Now, here's the reason why most people move away from that personal page. The reason I did, of course, is they have a 5,000 limit and no ad management. And I, of course, have reached that 5,000 limit many times over. So what you want to be doing is really taking a look at all of these elements and focusing in on how do you leverage this to push towards kind of call to actions, whether that be lead generation and things of that nature. Now, of course, Facebook came out with an incredible feature, very early on in the game of streaming, and that was Facebook Live. And this really puts the power of TV into your hands. But I often find people saying, well, I don't know what to do with, kind of an episode. So what I'm going to be doing here is really going through the importance. Why should you be using Facebook Live or a live streaming medium, really? And one of the reasons is to position yourself as a strong brand. The other one is to kind of broadcast, talk about what it is that you do, feature yourself, and of course, send to a call to action. Another reason is to create that community of people that know, like, and trust you. And then last but not least is really to position yourself as a leader at the forefront of a certain topic. So what are some of the things that you can be doing on a Facebook Live to help generate those leads that you want for your business? And of course, if you're into fitness at all, you have a studio in things of that nature, or you talk about weight loss, or you talk about topics that, are related to movement, then you can do a workout on a Facebook Live. You can make this a daily thing. Hey, wake up mornings type of thing, or wake up workouts, something like that. And so it's nice and simple to do. And maybe you're already doing it anyway. Well, just include the invitation and let other people start to attend and watch you. You can do sessions called Ask Me Anything. And this is kind of one of my favorites, where you come on, maybe you talk about a specific topic. Let's say I was doing a topic like this, and I would say, hey, ask me anything about, Facebook Live, Facebook topics, things you can talk about, call to actions, and things of that nature. And then you can really help showcase your expertise in a session like this. Another really great kind of broadcast idea is, let's say you're great at something, right? How do you do something? One of my favorite types of shows to watch in situations like this are the how to for DIY, right? How to fix plumbing issue, how to lay floor, how to, clean glass, stuff like this. I really love to learn. And because I digest information visually, these are the types of things I like to watch. And of course, let's say you're into rebuilding cars or something. Well, that's a perfect thing to do in a live scenario. People really like live scenarios because it's kind of the real thing, right? It's not scripted. It's not, it can be messy, just like whatever they're going to do, an encounter can be. Let's say you're a dry cleaner, you can show the processes you use for getting out stains. And then of course, that starts to position you as a leader, and anyone local is going to start to be interested in coming to see you on that topic. Countdowns are really fun. Let's say you have a countdown to an event, to a product launch, to anything that you're really looking at featuring, as far as, something exciting about to happen. And so you can do, hey, in 3 days or in 3 weeks, we're going to be doing it. And then you come on and count down. And each day you come on and you say, hey, 14 days away, or, 5 days from now, or 3 days, or yay, it's tomorrow, that type of thing. And then especially it's great for book launches. You get on and you say, hey, I'm going to be dropping my book on Amazon and in 5 days. So be sure to keep checking in. And then you do a little lesson. You're not just there promoting. You want the 80-20 rule to always apply. So you'd simply say things like, today we're going to talk about, this type of leadership profile or feature, right? And then you'll open your book and you start to talk about that. And then you, of course, have that link as part of the post that will be able to drive them to Amazon to, buy that day, pre-buy, whatever it is that you want to have happening. Another great thing to use Facebook Lives for are interviews. You can have yourself in the same place. You can just kind of talk and have somebody on something else. So here you could leverage technologies such as Zoom in order to be able to get, both of you in the studio when it is not live in a physical way. And then you can, do the normal recording. You can have your video camera facing you. Or you can have you can just be going straight to live, right? And have the camera or mobile phone type of thing facing you as you broadcast to Facebook and record for a studio appearance. The livenar is a really fun one. So it's really where you go off and you start talking about something. And you're moving them per se to educate on a product or program or something that you're featuring that day. And especially, if you're somebody that gets sponsorship in any way. But it's really great for real estate, where you can go and say, hey, I'm doing an open house, and you can do that early walkthrough, and you can say, here we are, and here's the kitchen, and here's the living room, etc., and kind of walk people through that behind the scenes, and then invite them, hey, it's going to be at 2:00. Be sure to come on out. And we're going to, have an exciting open house with these features, right? Whatever it is that you want to do, but you just want to move somebody through that scenario and really drive traffic to what it is that you're doing. Makeovers are a really great way to, demonstrate your talent, showcase what you're good at, educate people. And then again, you can turn this around and start to get sponsorships for various makeup brands and things like that. Or you can drive them straight to your company, like people like Lori Hart do, who's located in Beverly Hills. That's a great way for her to showcase her studio and then invite you to have, a certain treatment. And then she describes the treatment. And that's a nice way to educate on what you do, gain that interest, and then, of course, pull possible customers without really even asking for it. Behind the scenes are also great ways to showcase something. People love to watch that. So if, let's say you own a restaurant, well, heck, have a little Facebook Live, hey, here's the sous chefs coming in and 2 hours before the restaurant's open. And what happens here is they prep all of the stuff before the chef arrives, whatever it is, right? Just something interesting. People like to see things like this. Demonstrations, of course, are a great use for Facebook Lives as well. So you could be, especially if you're a cook, you could be talking about, how do you create a certain food? Really think like, HGTV cooking shows when it comes to demonstrations, or if you work with crafts or you're a painter. People have had shows, painting shows where they just watch somebody paint something for an hour. All of these work, especially, if you want to do that and then feature that specific piece for sale. You can add that kind of, subtle call to action where people are like, oh, I can go watch this particular method of painting in acrylics. And then whatever it is that they're painting, they're selling for $225, click comes a buy button and you can send them to the purchase. And at the same time, people have watched or been part of and connected to what it is that you're doing. You can take them on a tour. Really fun, in your city. If you have something cool in the area, I have watched people do walking tours of, Manchester and London and, Dubai and Singapore and Australia and Chicago and Vancouver and, all points in between. It's really cool. If you have something fun or unique in your city that you think other people would enjoy, then share it with them while you're doing it. I've literally broadcast, going on like a dolphin watch. I've broadcast, just taking a water taxi from one place to the other and just sharing the view. I've broadcast taking a walk on the beach. And it's just really nice for others as well. And maybe they can't get out. Maybe they need a few seconds to just reboot. Well, walking and listening to the beach is a great way to do it. Or they're coming to a place and you're talking about it. Well, this is a great way for them to be able to get some highlights of things they should be doing. And then, of course, if you can connect it to what you do, even better. Someone like Susie, she does events at sea. And so she'll constantly just be on a ship and then she'll be in a destination and then she'll talk about how an upcoming cruise opportunity, which is like, conference related that you can take advantage of. Creating a show, I think, is an extremely strong brand positioning moment. I've had clients such as Drew Hundhausen do a show called A Day in the Life of a Blind Guy. Well, this is very interesting to people. And then, of course, what's even better is you're getting content, right? When you've broadcast to your Facebook Live, you can take that elsewhere and you can edit it and you can promote it and send it to people, share it on different networks, whatever it is, put it on YouTube, whatever it is that you want to do it to get you that constant expanded kind of exposure. And that's just really helpful when it comes to capturing audiences from different platforms. And so on Facebook, I used to have a show called Tech Talk with Tracy, how to add fun and understanding into technology. And then, of course, my call to action was always sending them to the landing page, which is fastactionresults.com, and building that audience there, or controlling the list, really. And so it's just a super way to increase. And of course, now I have, Reach Millions TV, which is taken it to a whole nother level. what I learned broadcasting on Facebook Live and now incorporating into a kind of a true television show on Roku, Apple, and Amazon. Now, tutorials. If you have a great skill that you can, demonstrate something to people, this is a fantastic way to maybe get your music out there, right? Or if you do lessons like singing lessons and guitar lessons, I have clients who are singers that do this. And then they send them to a discovery session, and then they can, possibly sell a course on singing or singing lessons or expose them to your albums if you have those, or any live appearances that you're doing. Precious Wilson is a great example of that, because she does all of those and is still on tour. Again, same with Kristen Henry King. She is massively putting together tutorials for how do you get acting gigs? And that's really her line. And how do you get booked? And how do you, get featured? And how do you create your own production company? And these are all things that she's done, as well as, of course, she's incredible and has albums out for music that she has done. And product reviews. So you can just be a product reviewer, just like, the Siskel and Ebert and things of that nature did for movies. We'll do it for products, because it starts to position you as somebody that knows all the different brands. And ultimately, especially if you hone in on a product line such as technology or Apple, right? Well, they'll start to send you product if you, start to gain an audience. And then of course you get the next iPhone release in advance. And, really infomercials and the shopping channel and Billy Mays, as he so elegantly did it. Those are, in a way, positioned like product reviews, when in fact all they're doing is selling. And I'm, one of my clients, Marcy Bond, she was a publisher, and she would of course just do book reviews, and that gets more audience to her. And then somebody says, oh my goodness, can you publish, can you publish me, and things of that nature, or can you teach me how to publish and how to get published? And those are tapping into a skill set that she has, but leveraging a different audience, not just the Facebook audience, but then she can post it to Amazon and things of that nature. You can feature your product launches and really talk about those and share the journey. You can come on and say, hey, I built my landing page, or hey, this is what I'm going to call my product. Pretty soon you're going to be able to get a hold of it. But in the meantime, stay tuned to my Facebook Live journey as I do a behind the curtains look at how to do a product launch, right? So that is something people get interested in and tune into. Backstage passes are always fun too. I've bought into these where, for example, somebody's doing let's say a live event. And then they say, when the cameras go off, during this virtual broadcast, you continue to be able to go into a meeting room, and we'll continue to share stuff, or you can talk to the speakers at the event and things of that nature. So just think about what it is that you can offer. That's that fun thing that not everybody gets access to. Another great way, especially if you are into flipping vintage wear or clothing. My son is very into this. And so he'll buy something. Let's say he buys some, $600 sneaker from Steve McQueen. and then turns around and does a show and tell on it. And he can talk about the features and this and that and the other thing, and then talk about how, hey, you can get this shoe from me for $1,200, and, and it's a size whatever, right? That's a great thing to do too. If you have a retail store, you can go to various items within the store and do a show and tell and say, these are various glass, vintage glassware, and talk about the features of the glass and things of that nature. So not only are you showing and telling, in essence, you're educating with that possibility that they can purchase what you are show and telling. And this is a fun one, especially I just remember as a kid, right? You were told, hey, on a Friday, you can bring something in and talk about it. I used to love that day where I could come in and just talk about some ordinary item and why it was important to me. You can be doing something to promote your own cause, whether, you're somebody like Sean Duperon and she's got Project Forgive, or you can promote your own other causes. So you can actually teach about things that other organizations do in a charitable way. And even better is if you can connect it to something that you do. So let's say, for example, you're an animal healer, and that's the service that you sell. Well, you can talk about the SPCA, right? And you can talk about, the three reasons why you should be supporting the SPCA, or something of that nature. It brings in a brand name for you to talk about. And then at the same time is you wrap and reconnect it to your service that says, obviously, if you're interested in supporting the SPCA, you probably have a cat or a dog. And I just wanted to briefly tell you about a service that I have, which is the ability to heal your animal or locate, things of that nature, if that's what you do, right? I'm giving that example as a former client that I had that has the ability to do that. And the bottom line is, though, when it comes to a Facebook Live, these are just some examples that I wanted to share with you. But in essence, you can talk about any subject that you can think of. You can talk about floorboards. Somebody's interested in that. The 7 different types of hardwood, and which one do you select based on traffic volume, right? It just sounds so ridiculous that you could talk about almost anything, but the bottom line is you can. And then there's always an audience for you. So that's the other exciting thing, is your live sharing. And even though you could use this later on YouTube, live sharing in a community that's engaging and talking to you in the chat, telling they appreciate or asking questions. There's nothing like that feeling of knowing immediately you're connecting and helping somebody with what it is that you know. And then, of course, having that content for later is always a successful action to add to your assets. And again, another great cause that I love to support is called The Way to Happiness. And so, I could do something. There's 21 precepts actually in this book. I could do an episode a day on one of the precepts, and then say, hey, be sure to go to, twth.org and find out more, watch the videos, grab a free booklet, etc. Okay. So the question becomes, who will do a Facebook Live and what is it going to be on? So that's what I want you to get from today's episode, is to really just think of one thing that you can do. And then here's the other thing. When it comes to Facebook Lives, think in terms of 15, 20 minutes. Longer is actually better in this community because it takes time for, Facebook to start to gain momentum and feed you up if people start to engage, etc. But if it's within your comfort zone to do shorter, then do shorter and make the content, and then it remains on your page. So it is something that people can visit later. Then I'm going to just briefly talk about an amazing product that I have called thescienceofsocialmedia.com. It includes over 100 training videos for Facebook, Facebook Live, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat. We've also added TikTok and Clubhouse. It includes mind maps, blueprints, checklists, guides, and of course, step-by-step trainings on each of those platforms and why you should be on those platforms. And so I have a special offer for my viewers here, and that is you can save $300 from the price, and you simply put in save 300, and that will bring it down by that amount of money. And there's actually another version. The version I'm showing here is lifetime access because we're always building on this, but you can go and check it out and just get an annual membership if you'd like and save the 300 and get a year's worth.